other for a long time. She's been so active in Cyprus. Almost every year she has been presenting her research, and it's a pleasure for me to have this chat with her. It's an informal chat. Tell something about your research, about 18 years of research, what you are proud of, and where you can see the application of various fields of research you've been dealing with.
Well, you make me feel so old when you say 18. It's not 18 yet, so it's almost there. So I basically started research. No, you're right, it is 18. I started research as an
You're young.
Well, I started at 17 when I was a sophomore in college. So I guess when I first started out, I wasn't so interested in the applications. I just liked it for fun. So I just really enjoyed learning about science and nature and how the world works. But as time goes by, what keeps motivating me is the ability to have some impact in society and in human health. So hopefully the work that I do, although it's fundamental and basic science and understanding nanomaterials, which are materials that are very small length scales, my goal is that they will be able to be used in energy storage, such as lithium-ion batteries, or as in implants for fracture healing or deep brain stimulation.
So these are all the applications of where you are working as an application of nanomaterials.
Yes.
So direct impact on the human body and society.
Yeah.
Tell us something. You are among the youngest person that started a bachelor degree, completed a bachelor degree, completed a PhD. What's the story behind that?
So I really wanted to find out what my father was doing because he's a scientist. And at the same time I was born in '83, and in '84 he published this article that really revolutionized the way that mechanicians view plasticity. So I don't want to go into the details, but he developed his own theoretical framework to understand how materials deform. So once you try to compress something, how its shape changes. So the applications are many, of course, in every field. You need to know, like airplanes, you need to know how they deform, or bridges, just to talk into large scale. And of course in implants, when you have like a knee implant, you need to know, or a hip implant, you don't want it to start deforming inside your body. So he started that back in '84, and he always talked about it. He was really driven, and his work was his life. So he would bring his colleagues at our house all the time to discuss work. I remember he had Prigogine, who was a Nobel Prize in chemistry, visit us up in northern Michigan, and so we always had this scientific environment at the house, but he never told me what he did. So he said, "Oh, you'll find out when you grow up. You'll find out when you grow up." So then I really wanted.
Did he have enough time to stay with you?
Well, he was always traveling. So I remember when I was really young and I wanted to see him, and I would complain to my mother. She would take me to the office, and I would sit there, and he was just working. He wouldn't pay attention to me. So he would give us these little paper tags, and to my brother and myself, and he would say, "Go and find some door that's open and stick it on the door." So we were running around the university, and no one was there to play, to get rid of us.
Okay.
And then when we would get tired, he would put the chairs together, because I was I was like this high, so he would put the chairs together, and then I would take a nap on the chairs while he was working in the office. So those were memories that I would have.
At what age were you?
Very young, like 5 or 6, and then as I was getting older, I thought he would tell me what he did, but he wouldn't. So then I ended up going to high school between Greece and America. I was traveling because of his work, because he had joint appointments in the US and Greece. And by the time I was 16, I enrolled in college in Michigan.
What happened at 16? Normally, it's it depends on the state. I don't know in Greece, but at 16 is normally the age of high school, correct?
Yeah. So
you jumped high school. It doesn't mean high school.
No. In America, you take courses. So not everybody takes the same courses. So you can take advanced math or more advanced math. So I just signed up in high school to take pre-calculus. Mm-hmm. Because my high school, in the university to take pre-calculus, because my high school was not offering consistently.
So you took university degree?
So I took subjects in the university, and then I was finishing at the top of my class at the university in Michigan Tech. So they told me that they would let me enroll full-time without graduating high school. So then by the time I was 17, I enrolled full-time in the university. And I got my high school diploma in 2001 and my bachelor's in 2002.
Which means at what age? First one was 19?
18 my high school and 19 my bachelor. So
Innovation. Both of them in 1 year. Almost in 1 year.
Yeah, because the courses from the university were counting for high school.
So imagine you are at the university at the age of 16. Where all the others are 19, 20.
Yes, yeah, it was a fun
You're
experience. Yeah.
in the university class.
And I was finishing first. So,
And you were finishing first.
yeah, so that was what prompted the university. Because I was studying a lot, so I was working hard. But I thought it was fun, so I didn't feel pressured or anything.
Well, no, it's interesting. It's a unique case for me. It's the first case. And then after that,
So I got a graduate research fellowship from the National Science Foundation. So you would just submit.
so you just finished, just to make it a little bit, just completed bachelor
Yes.
at 19. Okay, which is normal for the society. The bachelor you finish normally at 22, 23, depends on the.
Yeah.
Right? So you were 4 years earlier, and then
Yes.
4 years. Okay. And then.
And then I got, so when I was in college, I was hoping I would learn what my father did, but he still had no time to explain to me his work. So I started taking some undergraduate research with one of his colleagues that he had worked with for a long time. And that's when I started to understand what research is like. And I started working on hacking.
Okay.
So we started working together on lithium-ion batteries at the time. So
Wow, since that time.
since that time,
What year we're speaking about?
how they fracture.
No, what year we're speaking about?
2001.
Wow.
Yeah,
This
2001.
is just early stage of
We had, actually, the work I started
batteries.
at that time was of the first, it was quite pioneering. Like,
Yeah.
we were the first to start looking at them from a mechanics point of view.
Yeah.
So, yes, and then I used those preliminary data to submit a proposal to the National Science Foundation for my PhD or my graduate studies. And it was funded. And so then I wanted to go to.
You did a master or not necessarily?
So it wasn't necessary. So because I was interested in research, I just wanted to do a PhD directly. So I went to the University of Cambridge, which is where.
Cambridge in UK or
UK.
Cambridge US?
UK, the University of Cambridge, not.
You have two Cambridges in your CV, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Not the Harvard Cambridge. So then I went with my fellowship to England, and I was just starting over there. I was very eager to finish as soon as possible because I wanted to learn what this is, and I wasn't planning to continue. So my plan was
Means that you didn't want to continue.
in science. So my plan was.
Really?
Yeah, so this is, I don't really say that openly, so.
No, nobody's hearing.
Yeah. So the plan was to get because my dad was always he loved his job so much, and my mother, she's an artist, so she was in the archaeological museum.
What type of artist?
She finished the fine art school in Athens, so not like a hobby artist, like a professional artist. And she finished.
A painter?
Yes, yeah, painter and mosaics. So she has worked in the National Gallery in Athens. She had a very important career, but she dedicated it to raise a family and contribute as much as she could to science. So she was always speaking so highly of all these scientists, and so my parents I knew they would be really happy if I kind of reached that level.
Finalize a PhD and jump to art?
Finalize a PhD and then.
In science?
And then just decide later what to do for my life. So it wasn't something I was planning to do for
You lithium batteries?
finishing lithium batteries. It was nanomaterials.
Nanomaterials.
Yeah.
Applied in lithium batteries.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, but then when I went to Cambridge, I started working with an applied mathematician, John Willis, who was amazing. And I shifted from my topic quite a bit, and I started doing really hardcore applied mathematics and theoretical mechanics. And then I finally learned what my dad's theory was about.
When you finished the PhD?
When I went to Cambridge. So, yeah, from John Willis, because John Willis was working on a similar version of my dad's theory.
Yeah.
So when I went there, he thought I knew all about my dad's work and I would be a good person to extend it with him. But then I actually knew nothing because my dad had never told me anything. So I actually learned about gradient plasticity, which I wanted to from John Willis. And I was his last student. He was close to retirement age at the time. So I was working a lot, and he's one of the most respected applied mathematicians in solid mechanics. And I felt really obligated to do my best while I was there. So I would, all I did was work, nothing else. So sometimes I would stay up late and I would end up putting my coat on the floor. It was a very nice office. It had a carpet. I would put the coat on the floor and sleep at night in my office if I...
And how frequently?
Well, of course not, but it would happen once. It would happen sometimes.
Wow.
So.
How many times? I mean, how many hours per day you used to work?
Only work, nothing else. Just sleep and work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And what age you were at the time?
I was 19 when I, 20 when I, yes, 20 years.
So you enjoyed?
Yes, I enjoyed it, but it was at the same time very, you start being like you view things very differently when you're only working and doing nothing else. It just changes you. So then you kind of lose perspective, and I was just interested in solving the mathematical problem. So at that time, I didn't care about any applications. I was just interested in solving the problem, getting a solution, making it work. So.
And this was where again?
Cambridge.
Cambridge.
Yeah. So, and then it was going pretty fast, and I was making a lot of progress. And John knew that I was interested in finishing soon because my dad got his PhD. I didn't tell you that story. He got his PhD in 2 years. So all I heard growing up. Yeah. So all I heard growing up was my mother, because my dad was always absent. She would say, "Oh, don't be upset with your dad. He might not be the best dad, but he's one of the best scientists." And she would say, "Yeah, he got his PhD in 2 years."
Good for us.
Yeah, he got his PhD in 2 years. So then, I always had it in my head, and I said, well, maybe I'll get it in 2 years and show him. So, it was kind of like a fun dynamic. Yeah. So then one day it was in May, so I went to Cambridge in October, and in May I was discussing with John. We already had 2 really good papers, and we're working on the 3rd one. And he just looked at me and said, you're pretty much ready to get your PhD, actually. But there was...
21.
I was 20 at the time.
Okay.
I was 20. It was like before my birthday at the time. So he said, but there's a time requirement in Cambridge. You need to stay 3 years.
Oh.
So in England, regardless if you're the worst student or the best student, 3 years.
It's a minimum stay.
It also almost
3 to 5 something.
3, most even, they try to get you out in 3 years.
Okay.
So then I told him if it would be okay with him, and also because of the fact I had diverged from my NSF fellowship, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to. And this NSF fellowship, the amazing thing is you could go wherever you wanted with it.
Oh, it's not for a specific kind of research.
No, you have a research topic, but you can shift it, and you also have the ability to go to whatever country you want.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so that was really good. And so he said, so I said, is it okay then if I try to go to another university, if they agree that they're not going to prolong my graduation, and if I can work on some more experiments and nanomaterials and try to verify.
He's interested.
I asked him.
Oh, you asked?
Yeah, because he said you're ready to graduate.
Oh, okay, and then there was the period.
Yeah, and then I said, is it okay then? I asked his permission, like, is it okay then? He said, yeah, you can do whatever you want, I'm fine. And I will be your co-advisor in that case.
Okay.
So I ended up getting my master's at Cambridge instead with John Willis and Norman Fleck. Norman Fleck was my main supervisor, who's also a pioneer in gradient plasticity. My dad did the first version, and then he and his colleagues did the second. Hutchinson and FLEG, and then there were so many other people that have followed that work. So I got my master's there, and then I had met a wonderful material scientist, Jeff DeHosen, who was at the University of Groningen, and he was doing amazing experiments. He's an applied physicist and also material scientist.
He was experiments on what?
Everything nanomaterials. He does so many things. So he does nanopillars,
Without a
micropillars.
specific application on site?
So he wants the basic science, just how materials at small length scales before.
Oh, okay.
So I contacted him, and he liked the work I was doing in Cambridge, and he agreed that if I could go visit and see if we can find a common topic, and part of my thesis could be what I was doing in Cambridge, and the other part, the work I would finish with him. So I went to...
They were overlapping.
Yes.
Your PhD with...
No, actually my PhD...
Time-wise, the time, they were overlapping.
The PhD was what?
Because with this, the work, because you couldn't get the PhD because of time.
Yes, it was time limits, yes.
And then you still continued to work in this similar subject, but...
Yeah, so it was basically the same work I did in Cambridge, I continued in Groningen.
Although you finished already the requirement for PhD, but you finished much
Research-wise, yes, research-wise. So in Groningen, the system is if you have good articles, like 3 to 4 publications, and your advisor allows you, and you also have the committee of the university approve, you can give your defense, and then if you pass, there's no time limit on how long you can be there. So I went to Groningen, and we were able to do experiments, and within 5 months I was able to verify the theory I did in Cambridge. So I did some nanomaterials testing and nano-indentation. So then the university was satisfied with my submitting my thesis.
So you got it at 21?
Yeah, I was still 21 when I got it.
So 1 year later, after you already officially completed all the requirements.
So officially the whole time I did, the research that went into my PhD was about 18 months of work, research-wise.
What your dad told you?
Oh, he was amazed. I don't think he could really digest what was happening because I never talked with him about work.
Really?
Yeah, so ever since, so we haven't published any articles,
You haven't published the article?
Nothing, no, he hasn't even read my papers.
Really?
Yeah, the only time we scientifically interact is in conferences. If he hears my talk or I hear his talk. And so that's it. We just, we never happened to interact after that. So, and you know, of course I appreciate his, because when we start talking about science, after 5 minutes we start arguing. Because he's my dad and I'm his daughter, and we can speak very freely to each other if we disagree. So then we just start arguing.
Wow. We're going to take we're going to do a chat, both of you.
Oh, that would be interesting.
But if you argue, it will be more interesting.
Oh, you want us to start arguing?
Nature.
I'm sure you can manage to do that.
But all this, you know what reminded me that George W. Bush, when he left the presidency, he said, I was moving at the speed of light, and now I'm retiring from presidency, I am just walking. So all this you move so fast.
And now I feel like I'm just walking because I did everything so fast. So I had my PhD when I was 21, soon I was 22. No one wanted to hire us. Okay, so I finished my PhD and then I had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
So the day I got my PhD, it was not very happy at all. Because when you have a goal and you reach it, and it's something amazing, you know, it's something that's so, I don't know how it happened. So then I was, okay, now what do I do? So it was an interesting period, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to be an academic because when I was young, all my father's colleagues were very nice and welcoming, and I knew people at Harvard and Brown, you know, many places. But then when I got my PhD, no one told me, oh, congratulations, this is what, you know, I had no support from the community. The scientific community, you know.
But they didn't congratulate you.
no one was like, to say, oh, we have a postdoc position here, or why don't you come apply to our university? I had nothing, no commotion like that.
Wow, okay.
So it was, so I got my feet, and that was it. So I didn't know what to pursue afterwards. And I remember I gave a first interview at Cornell, and of course I was very young, and I looked very young, and I behaved, I was just an enthusiastic, no politics. I wasn't putting this mask that I'm a know-it-all. I was, a very open, honest person.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I remember the first interview I gave at Cornell, someone suggested that I go there. They had just not given tenure to a woman, so she had left, or it was a promotion issue, so this woman had left. And during the welcoming dinner, this elder faculty who was in the search committee said, the last thing I want to do is hire another I don't remember the word, but like a non-traditional person.
Oh, non-traditional.
Yeah, but not non-traditional. It was another word that he said.
Academic world is used always very traditional.
Yeah, so he said that to me during my interview.
Oh, he said?
Yeah, he said it to my face.
Really?
During dinner, as we were discussing. I don't remember the name, and I don't want to,
Okay.
So then that was how the interview, and I left Cornell, and they didn't even follow up. They didn't say anything, thank you for coming, nothing. And at the time, there was this grant scheme developed in Europe called European Research Council. And they wanted to give 5-year grants to people who had their PhD between 2 to 12 years after their PhD. So it was for young scientists, getting them 1 to 2 million euro to do whatever they want in any university they chose.
Without specifics in the field,
you could just propose in any field. You would write your proposal. You needed a verification of your PhD so they could see the date that it was 2 to 12 years. And so then my father came one day because I didn't know what to do, and he said, Katerina, I found out this amazing thing is being developed in Europe, and the president of the European Research Council was a Greek, Phaphos, who actually became a full professor at Harvard at 29 or 30. So he had an amazing career, and he really cared about young scientists. And then he developed this grant scheme, and when my dad first told me about it, I said, what are you joking? The competition is going to be terrible. I'm not even being offered any postdoc positions by anyone. Who's going to give me this grant? And of course I wasn't applying because I figured, okay, if someone wants me, they know me. Why should I wasn't going to go into the process of applying for a postdoc. So I had, my own type of, because they knew me. I would go to conferences, they knew me, they would hear me speak. They could just say, are you interested in this? They knew I was looking.
You never talked about it?
Never, no one said anything like that.
Wow.
And so then, of course there was, this European, and of course I had some little postdocs, here and there, but nothing, really concrete. They were just short term. My dad suggested that I apply, and I said, okay, I will. And then he told me to apply for a Marie Curie. That was for 2 years. So for the Marie Curie, I saw the administrative forms I had to fill out. I said, no way, this is too much administration. I'm not doing the Marie Curie. I'll just do an ERC. You just wrote your proposal, your bio, and you send it in. So I went ahead and I wrote my ERC, and I was probably the youngest person after the PhD to apply, because the deadline for applying, I had obtained my PhD 2 years and 2 days before the deadline. So I barely made the deadline to apply. And I was 23 at the time. The first application. So there were, along with me, over 9,100 applicants.
Oh, for this?
It was the first call, and everybody was excited. So there were over 9,100 applicants. So when I heard that, and no one had applied for the Marie Curie. So the success rate for the Marie Curie that year was very high. And then I was kind of second guessing why I did not do that. So then I went to a conference, and my dad's friends were seeing me, and they said, so what are you doing now? And I didn't know what to say because they weren't offering me. So I said, well, I applied for an ERC. And they said, well, 9,000 applied for it. Like, yeah, but you're not gonna get it.
And we got it.
Yeah, and again, apparently we had an interview, so it was a very competitive.
Continued science.
Yeah, so then.
We were in the dilemma.
Well, yeah, just so it was the ERC. If it wasn't for the ERC, I was actually thinking if I do not get this ERC, I am gonna stop.
And
I wasn't thinking what to do afterwards. I was thinking different things, but I said I'm not gonna. If I can't get an ERC, I don't see myself being accepted in the academic community. I'm very different. They just being female.
being different is an asset.
Not always.
Not always?
Not always.
Okay.
So then I got the ERC and I was 24 and...
Because you're young. That's why you're different.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm also my father's daughter. That's another issue. If you talk to him, you can see he's not political at all. So he would speak his mind very openly, and people would not, he was not in any of these scientific cliques.
And now this was that changed your mind and you continued.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Well, that's when, after getting the ERC, and it was inspiring, I met the ERC president, Hobbies, after I got it. I learned that he was doing a lot of work on biology. And slowly I started, and of course, Subra Suresh, who you also had here, he was also someone who was a material scientist and was shifting into biology. And when I heard those two people, and of course, my mother being an artist, she always told me, you should go in, if you don't want to just be in this community that is not very friendly, think about how you can help people with your work. And don't bother if not everyone is welcoming and they're kind of rigid and closed-minded. So then with my ERC grant, I started getting into biology and then I started being very motivated by the applications that science can have in society. So it was with the ERC grant when I was 24 it wasn't science for the fun, which I was doing until then. And when it stopped being fun because people were not nice, I was thinking of quitting.
Wow.
And then when I got the grant, I was independent. I had my own funding. I didn't need all these other people to be nice to me and friendly. And I was able to use my love for science to hopefully do something that's going to benefit the world.
Being in so different places, it creates the impression that you already had so many friends in Netherlands, in England, in the United States, in Greece.
I have friends maybe like in one hand.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
but they have been extremely supportive.
Yeah.
So I might have not known because so I knew people from many places, but no one ever helped me.
Because you're busy. You didn't have time to stay with friends, I guess.
No, friends I mean scientific friends. Friends from the community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's like colleagues who are friends and who are supportive and helping you. Very few, even though I grew up in the community and most of them knew me since I was very young.
So, you're here today.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back at 16, you're going to choose the same, would you choose the same path?
You know, that's an interesting question. I was talking with someone and I'm very spiritual, so I'm an Orthodox Christian, and that's why that's part of the reason that I wanted to understand science as well, because I just see the beauty of creation in science. So my spiritual father, once we were asked, he passed away, but he created some monasteries here in Thessaloniki. So we asked him, what if we could go back in time? I would not have done that, just in discussions.
What was his response?
No, we were talking to him. A group of us were saying, one said, oh, Father, I did a mistake. If I could go back in time, I would have not done it. And he looked at us and he said, even if God could give you that opportunity, you would still go ahead and make the same things throughout your life. So I'm pretty sure if I went back at 16, I would have done absolutely, regardless if I knew where I would be right now, or if I knew how hard it would be, my psychology and my enthusiasm, I would have taken exactly the same path.
Any regrets? Looking back,
any regrets? Maybe trusting in people sometimes. So you have to be.
You trusted too much.
Yes, I was more like with my work. Like I was invited to at a seminar actually to give a seminar in Harvard about my work on batteries. And I openly talked about my work.
Oh,
And then they wrote a proposal on it.
I know.
And they hardly refer, and these are very important people. And they still like to take ideas from young.
I understand.
So that's why I'm sure you have experiences like that as well, and everybody. So unfortunately, you can't trust people as much as you would want to.
Unfortunately, that was good.
So that's the only regret I guess I have.
Now, moving at the speed of light, like you know, what about the other hobbies? I see science. Okay, what else?
Okay, so I had put my hobbies on hold from 16 to 26. I honestly had no hobbies. So before that,
Science.
yeah, well, you can't do anything to 26. Yes.
26.
Yeah, so I got my ERC at 24. It started at 25. I had to set it up at 26, so nothing else. But then I realized I just needed to let out a little bit more and do some, to get some inspiration. Because if you do that
Your
for,
mother was an artist.
yes, so you need some inspiration.
Yeah.
So I guess from 16 to 26, science was enough to inspire me. But then I started to want to have some more things to, so I love to ski, which is my,
Okay.
yeah, because when you're on the hill and you're going down, and you think, oh my God, I'm gonna kill myself right now. If it's icy or if it's foggy or the weather. Yeah, so when the conditions are not that great.
Yeah.
So I really like to ski when I get a chance.
Where?
Oh, there's in America, there are next to San Diego, New Mexico, Santa Fe.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, and then when I was
Now you're in Florida.
Not
ski anymore.
I did not ski at all last year, to be honest. All the skiing places were too far away. I was too busy setting up my lab. So last year, no skiing, unfortunately. But these are things of the piano. So yeah, I like to play the piano.
Okay, so still you have something.
But I don't have my mother's talent for art, unfortunately.
Your mother is she's a painter, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's very, very interesting. I knew some of this, but only from your bio. But the bio is dry like this. It looks very
Lively, right?
Yes. I'm just curious with this people that you get a PhD, you get a bachelor at a young age, and then they don't see it as a success.
No, they don't. Like I'm stuck right now. I'm still an associate professor. Which, other people 7 years after their PhD become chairman or full professors, and I'm just 13 years because they just...
Because of the age.
Well, part of it is the age, and the other part is because I switched places, so I was in Europe for 5 years, then I went to America, and they see you like you're starting over in a new place. So they don't really count what you did before you went to that university. So they don't care if you have your PhD at 21, or they basically care about money, how much money you bring at the university, unfortunately.
You don't bring money, you're good taking...
Yeah, but now I don't know why I don't know what maybe they want more money, I don't know.
You're bringing money, you're setting up a lab.
Well, now they're telling me I haven't taught enough.
You've taught for how long?
I haven't taught enough at Florida.
That's specific for you.
So they want specific things.
Well,
so I feel like for the
moving sometimes people in academia will use it as an excuse to get a higher degree. For example, I know people in Cambridge, they moved to another university, stayed 2 years there, and then they came back in Cambridge as a full professor.
Yeah.
So they use it to their advantage.
I didn't use it, I guess, in my advantage.
No, in your case it's different. I'm surprised because people do this.
So I do feel a little bit like you said, I was going at the speed of light until I got my ERC grant until 24, 25. And then it hasn't really been, the research has been amazing and challenging and beautiful, and I've had wonderful collaborations.
Are you happy?
But yes, for the research. But for the other part, I am a bit disappointed, actually, to be.
For the tenure?
Yeah, for those issues. It has been like, like you said, kind of walking slow afterwards.
After moving the speed of light.
Yes, yeah. From the professional point of view, not the science point of view.
Yes, but you probably don't need it too much. It's people might be full professor but not happy.
Exactly.
So,
It's just the freedom that it gives you.
yeah,
You know,
it's
it's,
freedom.
yeah, it's the freedom that I
decide
care.
subjects.
Yeah, it's you have more freedom when you are.
I'm gonna ask the father see what he said. And then I want to argue with him in the camera.
Oh, you too argue.
No, you we are.
Oh, us too argue. Okay, I can tell you some keywords to mention and we'll just start.
Okay. No, it's really interesting. I really appreciate it. It was lively, very much one of the best.
Oh, it's my pleasure talking
You
with
spoke
you.
frankly and you spoke openly, and that's what we like.
It's my
Thank
pleasure.
you again.
Thank you.